Hello everybody, it's the Pollinator. I thought I'd make a video today because there are transgender men and women all over America right now trying to get funding for their top surgeries, their bottom surgeries, and the medical industry, the government, everybody is basically not in support of this for us, which is making it especially difficult in these times to get these things that we so desperately need in order to feel complete about ourselves and our transition. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself that I've probably said in many other videos, but I will compress it all into this one. And the primary one that I want you to know is that I am a veteran of the United States Air Force. I served back in the 1970s after the Vietnam War. And last year, or maybe even before that, the Veterans Administration Board had on the table an order to support top surgeries being done by the VA, and they already do sex reassignment surgeries for active duty military, but for unknown reasons that I doubt any veteran will be able to figure out or find out, they just wiped it off the table. And you know, they said it was a funding issue, but let me tell you something about funding with the VA. You know, if they can spend $500 for an ashtray on a plane for active duty military people, they can fund the veterans that would be wanting to have these surgeries. And not all of them want surgeries, but they never really asked any of us, none of us who were transgender, or tried to find out how many of us would actually want something like that in order to deny the entire ball of wax. I don't know what they based that on, but you know, they spend probably more money with the health care and the mental health care of transgender veterans in the United States who are in various stages of either depression or anxiety or something of that nature because they cannot get these surgeries completed and done. They spend money for medications. They spend money for in their psych wards. They spend money for therapy. They spend all kinds of money to support veterans, yet they cannot find it in their budget to support surgeries for us. And these surgeries are not, especially the top surgery, the one that I want to get this year, is not that expensive compared to bottom surgery. But of course, I don't. None of us are on the board that decided to take it off the table. So they can throw any excuse they want out there to justify not giving us this. And it was going on during the same time the elections were going on. So it's no surprise to me that they took it off the table. Somebody didn't like it up there. Maybe a lot of people did not like it and were feeding information to the board to say, no, don't do this for veterans. Because there's probably millions of us. But again, I don't think they had clear statistics on how many of us would actually want any kind of surgeries done. I mean, I've been on testosterone for a year and a half, and it wasn't until I went home for my sister's funeral in February that it dawned on me that I wanted this surgery. And I've talked a lot about the word dysphoria, that people needn't attach themselves to that word. But I'm going to tell you, I experienced a little bit of it when I was frisked by the TSA agents in the airport on the way home from my current location and on the way back from my sister's funeral. They frisked me like a man because I am a man, but I did experience a very strange sensation of having them touch this part of my body. And then I shocked them all because on the way out of here, the agent asked me after I was frisked on the top, and actually had what he did not know were female nipples. They pinched my nipples, and that's what set me off. So he said after he did that, is there anything else on your body I should know about? And I said, yeah, I'm wearing a Packer. And he said, a what? And I just stood there looking at him. And then it dawned on him what I had said. It dawned on him that I was a trans man being frisked by him at that airport. And he went, well, do you want her to do it? And I looked at her and I looked at him and I said, no. I already felt me up on the top. Just letting you know, you feel me on the bottom, you won't feel something you might not want to feel. I didn't say all that, but that was the inclination of me telling him that I had that, and I had a Packer on. And he just looked at me very surprised and ran away and found something else to do. And the woman that was standing there was just standing there with her mouth open. She didn't know what to think, and I did not want her to frisk me. I'm not a woman, so I did not need a female TSA agent frisking me. So, and all this because I had paper money in my pocket. I had emptied out all my change, but I did not feel like putting my paper money in that tray in case it came out the other side missing. But, my mistake. I ended up missing my flight and everything because of what happened with what was in my carry-on, and had to get rerouted. Ended up, instead of going to Chicago, I ended up going through Houston. But that whole day was crazy. And then on the way back, my belt, I forgot to take my belt off, and it set off the sensors. And so they wanted they wanted to search me extensively. And he asked me if I wanted to have it done right there in front of everybody, or did I want to go in the back room. And I said in the back room because I knew I was wearing a Packer. So we get into the back room, and he asked, want me to pull my pants up so he could see my ankles and all this stuff. And, all trans men that wear a Packer know that the consistency of a Packer is not the same as a cis male penis. So this man was all between my legs, and he frisked me up top the same way as happened at the airport that I left from. But when he was feeling around in between my legs, he was like, he kept looking at me, and I just looked at him with a smug look on my face like, well, you wanted to do this, so now you get to feel what you're feeling down there. Probably thought I had a boner, which is why he kept staring at me. Packers are harder, even the softest ones are harder than what a cis male penis is like. So I say all this to say that that threw me into a little dysphoria. I was more humored by what happened than the looks on their faces than I was horrified that they were touching me everywhere, and knew that only my belt set the sensor off, that I didn't have anything on my body or whatever. So let me switch back to something else. When I was a child, when I was like between 10 and 13, I literally was so confused. I thought, I knew I was a boy, but I knew something. I knew at the age of 8 that something was missing on the bottom when I saw uh, two little boys during hide and go seek wanted to expose them. They exposed themselves to me, and when I looked, I was like, and I looked at myself and went, uh-oh, something's missing. But, you know, at that age, we do not have cognitive reasoning or thinking. So I had no idea what was going on at that time, except that something was missing. That's as far as my little brain could process that. And then I ran away from those little boys. And so time went on, and I started working out. I started doing lots of push-ups because I literally thought that pectoral muscles would form, and did not even really give it much thought that breasts would form instead of pecs. So when that happened, I was probably 12 years old. And when those things started sprouting up, I was horrified. And again, I didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on. In the 6th grade, we had sex education in our grade school, which made everybody giggle and laugh. And I remember sitting there, you know, seeing the pictures the teacher was putting on the wall, and the drawings, and the I think they had not human, they had mannequins of some sort that had genitals. And I remember looking at them and thinking, this is interesting. I giggled and laughed too. I mean, I'm not sure at the age of 11 or 12 that it was appropriate to have sex education, but they were just giving everybody a heads up as to what was going to happen during puberty. And I still did not connect that what was going to happen to me is what the female genitalia was being displayed in that class. I did not connect the dots. I didn't know. I literally thought something else was going to happen, or nothing was going to happen. I'm not sure what I thought. But, so when, you know, when I started to develop on top, I tried to ignore it. And a family member made a comment about what was there. In fact, he called them raisins. What are those raisins? And I was devastated. I was like, oh no, somebody noticed these things. And so my mom or my dad, I can't remember, took me to get a training bra, which I absolutely hated. I wouldn't wear. I had it, but I didn't want to wear it. So I continued to play sports, which was my way of dealing with everything that happened to me as a child. I was very shy. I could not speak, and all I did was play sports. And I was playing football with a bunch of boys down the street behind somebody's house, and I wasn't wearing a bra, and we were playing. I was like I was either the wide receiver or the running back, because I was very fast and very small, but I was very fast. I could get around these guys. But this one particular day, I was playing football. This big ass kid, his name was Ricky. I even remember his name. His name was Ricky. He must have weighed 200 pounds, 250, something like that. Anyway, I tried to run past him, and I didn't make it past him, and he jumped on me and flattened me on the grass, on the ground, and I had a button-down shirt, and it popped open. The game stopped because my chest was exposed, And all the boys were just standing there staring at me, and I was so embarrassed and so ashamed that I just turned around and took off running home. I don't even think I buttoned up my shirt. I just pulled it to me and ran home as fast as I can, and I was crying. I did not want breasts, okay? And and I couldn't really play with boys that big anymore. In fact, that was the last time I played with that group of boys that were down the street, because they were getting bigger and bigger and I wasn't going anywhere. Despite what I look like on these videos, a lot of people assume that I'm tall and that I'm bigger than I am. But I'm 5'5", and I weigh about 125. So I'm a small guy. I'm not tall, I'm not big, it's just this camera angle, and I don't have enough money to buy a professional camera for these videos, but I am a small guy, and I just want to let people know that, I've been thrown into the world of the civilian way of getting top surgery, and I don't have, my healthcare provider is the VA. So I'm shit out of luck when it comes to somebody funding my top surgery. I don't have insurance, and I have to figure out a way to get this funded this year without anybody's aid, really. I did find a scholarship program, and they're going to make their decision on who to fund in July, and then I'll know something. But I'm also trying to create backup plans, which is the reason why I put a fundraiser on a site called UCaring, which takes a lot less money from you than GoFundMe does. GoFundMe can take anywhere to up to 33% of whatever anybody gives you, and UCaring takes a lot less. I think, well, I'd have to look at the numbers, but they take far less than 33%. So this video is in a company with my video that's attached to my fundraising site, and I will provide a link to that fundraiser, to this video. And I really don't, I've depended on me most of my life. I mean, I've had periods of time here and there where my father helped me out, but for the most part, nobody's ever helped me financially. And so this is not easy for me to ask for help this way. The entire surgery is around $7,500, and my fundraiser is up there for $8,000, and that's not even going to cover travel and staying in a hotel or whatever for a week in Dallas, which is where the surgeon that I found. I searched all over the United States for the right surgeon, and although they're playing games with the fact that I have Medicare and they don't want to deal with Medicare, but other surgeons do, the staff is kind of cock-blocking my ability to talk to that surgeon directly and find out whether he would get their medical staff, no, their insurance staff, to actually try to get this funded through Medicare, because there's surgeons all over the United States that do take Medicare and they get paid. And this particular office of this surgeon says that when they've tried to deal with Medicare, they never got paid. So there's something going on with the insurance department of that medical center where that surgeon is. And that surgeon is very well known. I know 3 men who have had surgeries done by this doctor, and his results were phenomenal. But again, everywhere I turn, I'm being, somebody's creating something to block what it is I want to do. And, I could find another surgeon, yes I could, but this is the one that I really want in Dallas, Texas. I've got a friend that's willing to go with me up there and bring me back. But again, I'm looking for all sorts of ways to get this funded, and I'm still going to have to come out of pocket to get there and to get back and to stay in a hotel and food and all those kinds of expenses. But I just wanted to make this video so that people know that I'm for real. I'm not trying to play any games getting funding for something else other than top surgery. I want this more than anything, and I'm appealing to the public to help me get there. If it had not been for the VA doing what they did at the end of the last year, which put many transgender people in hysterics and anxiety about the rest of our treatments that the VA does give us, which HRT and therapy around this, our endo doctors or whatnot. If they had not dropped the ball on us, I would not be making this video, and I wouldn't be scurrying around trying to find a way to get this paid. And you know what? The very people that are denying us are the very people who we as veterans protected their freedoms. All of us have protected your freedoms to be who you are and to do what you want in the United States of America. And I just find that fact a little disturbing, because we as veterans know, and I didn't serve during wartime, but what I did was important for the safety of Americans. I was in the computer industry. That's where I learned my trade. And I'm not going to tell you what I did, because I did do it under a secret security clearance. But I just want to appeal to the public now to help me get my top surgery. It's not, in the scheme of things, it's not a heck of a lot of money, but to a lot of people it is. But there are some people in my life, not in my life, but in my circle of people that I know, that could help me and it not even make a dent in their finances. But I cannot depend on them. I'm going to have to depend on just regular Americans, or maybe even some of them out there who can help me fund this. So I didn't even put a title on this video, but it's probably going to be top surgery. And what they do is not a mastectomy, it's a reconstruction of the chest to make it look like a male's chest. They take the nipples off, resize them, and put them back on. I would put a picture of what I want myself to look like, but I have to work my ass off to build up the muscles underneath the tissues that are there right now, so that it looks like the man that I saw, at 1 year post-op, or maybe it was 2 years post-op. So anyway, that's it, folks. That's the reason I'm making this video. I will make other videos that aren't about this, because I have a few other ideas rolling around in my head. But please and thank you. If you can even spare $5, I don't care. $5 times a whole bunch of people would help get me there, to get me to my goal of $8,000. So you all have a blessed day, and I will be chatting with you later. Peace.